everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Liz Loves Books. I'm so excited today because I'm going to be doing my April book haul. I've accumulated a decent amount of books this month and I just wanted to show you them and hopefully find out, if these are ones that you're reading or if you're interested in any of them, and let me know in the comments below. And let Rascal know in the comments below what books you're most excited about that you got in April. So let's get to it. The first book that I got and have already read in April is Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage. This is the fourth book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series. It is the cutest, most wholesome, mixed with some spice, cowboy small town romance. It takes place in Meadowlark, Wyoming, so all four of the books take place there. And this was my absolute favorite of the series, which is funny looking back because the first two books I gave 5 stars, then the third book I gave a low 4-star, and then this one I technically rated it as 4.5, but I think it's technically probably a 5, and the other two are bumped down to a 4.5 after reading Cam and Dusty's book. Dusty is the main male character, and Cam is the female main character. And we get little glimpses of them in the past 3 books, and I was just so excited to be able to read this little short and sweet little contemporary romance. And hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Liz Loves Books. I'm so excited today because I'm going to be doing my April book haul. I've accumulated a decent amount of books this month, and I just wanted to show you them and hopefully find out, if these are ones that you're reading or if you're interested in any of them. And let me know in the comments below. And let Rascal know in the comments below what books you're most excited about that you got in April. So let's get to it. The first book that I got and have already read in April is Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage. This is the fourth book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series. It is the cutest, most wholesome, mixed with some spice, cowboy small town romance. It takes place in Meadowlark, Wyoming, so all 4 of the books take place there. And this was my absolute favorite of the series, which is funny looking back because the first 2 books I gave 5 stars, then the third book I gave a low 4-star, and then this one I technically rated it as 4.5, but I think it's technically probably a 5, and the other two are bumped down to a 4.5 after reading Cam and Dusty's book. Dusty is the main male character, and Cam is the female main character, and I'm very excited for what Lila Sage comes out with next. In September, she has a release that she's doing that I believe is a duology in the town of Sweetwater Peak, which was mentioned once or twice in this book, so I just love those little nuggets that she throws in there. And if you haven't read this series and you're kind of interested in wanting to get into cowboy romance, this is definitely one that I would suggest because they're nice and short and sweet. They read really easily, but yet the writing has substance and the characters have substance to them, and the plot is really, really good, I think, in all of the books. So that's Wild and Wrangled. Then next, I finally caved and got Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. This I have seen all around BookTube for many, many months. And I also have one of my real life BookTube, my real life best friends, Case, they read this book and gave it 5 stars, and they said so far this is their favorite book of this year. And so I am eagerly awaiting the time when I can read this, especially because the second book just came out, Enchantra, and I've been hearing really great things about that one as well. And the cover is stunning. These roses and the skulls and the skull on the spine. It is a really stunning book, and I'm excited to get into it. The one thing I really love is the little quote on the back here. It says, "Phantasma only has 2 rules. Stay alive and don't fall in love." She'll probably stay alive, and she'll probably fall in love. And I've heard there's a little shadow daddy in this, and I hate that word so much, but that's how he's just been described. So that's how I'm going to describe him. Oh, and can we talk about the author's photo. Stunning. So I'm very excited to read this one. Next, I got Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez in a nice, beautiful hardcover with that beautiful sunset. And have I read any Abby Jimenez? No. Scratch that. I've read one short story by her in that Amazon original Valentine's Day release that she did with a couple other authors, and I really, really loved that book. And I have Part of Your World, I have Yours Truly, and I have for the summer. Just for the summer, that's it. And then Say You'll Remember Me. I'm not sure if it's like a companion to those 3 novels or not, but I'm really excited to have it, and I'm hoping that maybe I could do like an Abby Jimenez reading vlog, reading all 3 or maybe 4 if this is connected in a way. I know that her books are really, really heavy though, so I'd probably have to space it out and then finally mesh it all into one vlog. Let me know if you would like to see that, because I've just heard so many amazing things about her as an author. I've heard that like she includes a lot of mental health representation in her books, as well as that romance and like real life problems, which is really fun to read if a writer does it well. So I'm excited for Say You'll Remember Me. Then I got my Fairy Loot subscription box. I get the 2-book box. I believe it's Romantasy and Fantasy. And the adult fantasy pick that they had was Gifted and Talented by Olivia Blake. And I love this golden, like, navy dark blue design on there. And then the back here, it says, money is the family business, magic is the family curse. So I'm not sure if it's supposed to be like a little bit magical realism mixed with like the real life, or if it's like a fantasy world. I'm not sure, but I'll have to take a look. And look at the sprayed edges. I love that like gold kind of swirly pattern. I think that's kind of fitting for this because it's very whimsically described from what I've seen. And then, of course, with Fairy Loot, as I'm sure a lot of you guys know, there is beautiful artwork on the end pages and the hardcover. So here is the hardcover. Again, that gold navy blue design. And then the end pages have 2 different artwork. It's the 3 siblings in the book, the 2 girls and the guy, which I need to find out their names. And then here is another one, which is interesting because it's like a little bit more just like their natural selves. I think it's supposed to be like a juxtaposition between them as themselves and them as like their, you know, professional selves. And as with all Fairy Loot books, there is a bound-in letter from the author. This one's kind of fun because Olivia Blake obviously wrote it herself, and then they just printed it, and then there's that signature of her. There's Meredith, Arthur, and I don't know how to pronounce this name. I'll need to look it up. It's Eilidh. I've never seen that name before, so I need to look that up and figure out how to pronounce it for future when I discuss this book. Oh, and also the purple sprayed edges. So I guess this is more like kind of a purpley blue. And then they also have a reversible dust jacket. It is just the original cover, but with a slightly different colorway. And now it's really interesting because I just recently unhauled all of the Olivia Blake books that I have. It wasn't all of the ones that she's written, but quite a few of them. Just because I had never read them, and I've had them for quite a while, and I was like, I don't think I'm going to read these. And then I get this one in, but this one seems a little different than a lot of the other titles by her, so I am excited to see if I like it, and if I do, then maybe I can like look at trying to get the books really cheap again or something like that. So then next we have the adult romantasy book, which I've heard has had a lot of controversy surrounding it, so I'm kind of nervous. Although it's funny because I saw this book at Walmart a couple days before it was supposed to be released, and I tried to buy it, and then they wouldn't let me. Because I guess they got in trouble the day before by letting somebody buy it. And I just looked at the cover and like the synopsis and like the maps that were inside and thought it was really cool. And this was before I knew of like the potential problematic views that this book represents, but that is Firebird by Juliet Cross. This is the Fairy Loot edition. It is absolutely stunning, so I'm hoping I really enjoy it because the detail is just amazing. And then here is the back of the book. And then the spine with the dragon tail, and then our female main character down there at the bottom, I think is really, really cool. And then we, of course, have the reversible dust jacket. Same cover, but just a different colorway. This kind of brighter orangey red colors. And then the stenciled edges on the hardcover. Again, the gold stenciled edges are really, really beautiful. And I think this design's really cool because it's supposed to take place in like a Roman-inspired fantasy world. Hence a lot of those columns and that Roman architecture. And then these are the end pages, which I find really interesting because I've heard this book is supposed to be kind of like a captive captor dark romance, and this is given very sweet, very cutesy. So that was an interesting choice. And it's beautiful, but we'll see. But then this, I feel like fits a lot more with her dragon and like the fire. I just think this one is stunning. It's supposed to be, I think, a juxtaposition of light and day. So that is the Fairy Loot books that I got. And as I said, when I went to Walmart and then looked at Firebird and wanted to purchase it and I couldn't, the next day it released. So then I went back to Walmart and I got the first edition of Firebird because I didn't think I was getting the Fairy Loot one. This one, I feel like fits like that dark romance vibes with like those snakes wrapped around her, and I hate snakes, but I still loved this cover. The back is just a little synopsis, and but the spine on this one, sprayed edges on this, is so detailed, like with the dragon breathing his fire, and like the Roman city like burning down. I really hope I like this book. I don't know what made me want to pick it up because I usually don't read like dark romance. I don't think I've ever read dark romance, but dark fantasy romance, I was like, okay, maybe that can be a little bit more up my alley. And of course, you know, with the publishers doing these first special editions of books, they always get you. I don't have money to be got anymore. I need to stop. But the map. Look at the map. I think it's super, super cool. I love that it looks kind of like a gold frame. And then it is also the same on these end pages here. And there is, I noticed like an author's note in the front. And I haven't taken a chance to look at it, but it's talking more about how she used ancient Rome as the idea for the fantasy world, and so it's not always historically accurate. It's more just kind of the vibes and design and look of ancient Rome. They talk about a language that she created for the book that's similar to modern-day Romanian, and then talks about like gods, goddesses, and mythology as well, but there isn't any content warnings, which is an interesting choice from the publisher, that is what I've heard has been a big issue, is there wasn't even any content warning page or anything like that. And I know that that is a big deal for a lot of people. I don't have too many like triggers that I want to look into in books, except for maybe more of like eating disorder, things like that. I would look at triggers for that, but there isn't any in here at all. So we'll see how it goes. I just really like it because they're describing like the dragon houses in the beginning, a myth that they're going to discuss, and then this is just the prologue like artwork with the dragon and the Roman columns. I think is really cool. And let's see if that happens on every single chapter heading. Yep, so it continues. So that's on every chapter heading as well, which I think is so cool. And then we got our little dragon boy. Red on here, it's black there, and then red on the spine. And then I realized I forgot to show the letter on the inside of Firebird. This one is just a printed one with her signature at the bottom. Oh, and her signature here as well. So, if I don't like it though, I can probably try to resell them. Although with all the controversy, who knows if anybody is going to be wanting it. And another thing that I also heard that people are kind of having an issue with is the main character. Her name is Melina. I looked it up. She is I believe, a POC character, and it was written by a white female author. So there is also kind of that issue there as well. So I would definitely encourage people to go look at other creators that are discussing this book that are POC, and kind of see what their opinions are on that topic, since I am not able to speak on that properly, but I can at least point you in the right direction. And finally, the last and most exciting thing is I have 5 more books. But they are part of a series that I started reading, I believe it was last year, and I absolutely fell in love with, and that is the Chestnut Spring series by Elsie Silver. This series, I love it so much. It is my favorite thing ever. I was able to get the Dark and Quirky book box exclusive editions of this series, just the normal ones without the sprayed edges. They didn't have those ones available, but I got an email and it said that they had overstock. Since I missed out on the Fairloot editions of Chestnut Springs, I really wanted a different set of special editions of it. And so now I can add these to my collection, which includes like the standard editions of Chestnut Springs that were re-released. And then I am in the process of collecting the old indie editions of the mirror covers and the people covers, and I'm slowly but surely making my way through. I found some on Pango for really good deals, and I found quite a few actually at half-price books for just a normal amount. So that is absolutely insane. But if you haven't read this series, another amazing cowboy romance series, a little bit longer than the Rebel Little Ranch series by Lila Sage, but still just as amazing. They're both very different though, which I really like because I feel like they could be kind of similar in a way. But all of Elsie Silver's books take place in Canada, which is another kind of little fun fact. And so we'll start off with Flawless by Elsie Silver. I love the juxtaposition between the top and bottom of the cover. Now, this is Summer Hamilton at the top, and then down here, technically, should be Rhett Eaton, because this follows the 4 Eaton brothers, and then you have the extra bonus Eaton brother. So, this is the main cover here, and I just think the coloring is so beautiful. The spine, and then the back with, like, the sunset, and more of the bulls in there, because that is a super important part, as Rhett Eaton is a bull rider and that is his profession. And I just think this just fits the vibe of Flawless especially really, really well. And so the next book in the series, which is my second favorite in the series, which is Heartless by Elsie Silver. Up here, this follows Willa. She is the friend of Summer in the first book, and then down at the bottom it follows Kate Eaton, who is the oldest Eaton brother, and he is like the rancher on the whole family farm. So then we've got the spine here. And I just feel like they did a really good job, you know, emulating Willa's character, because she's very free spirit. She's very just kind of wild and crazy, but also has such a strong side to her. So that is Heartless. And then this one's a little different because it follows Jasper Gervais, and he is the adopted, he's not actually adopted, Eaton brother. And this is Powerless, which is the third book. At the top here, this is our female main character. Her name is Sloane. And then down at the bottom, you can see there's kind of that hockey pucks and the ice rink. Sloane is an ice skater, and Jasper is a professional NHL hockey player, which of course is very, very popular in Canada, so it fit really well. And I kind of loved the idea that this one was just a little bit brighter in the more blue tones. It just really fits both Jasper and Sloane as characters, since they're very like sad boy, sad girl vibes, and they're just sad together, and it's very cute. This is my least favorite in the series, but it's still a 4-star. So then the fourth book, we have Reckless by Elsie Silver. This cover is really, really cool. I just, the way that they kind of designed the model's hair in this, I think is really, really pretty. And again, more bull riding. This has another character who is a bull rider. His name is Theo Silva. He is kind of the protege of Rhett Eaton from the first book. And I said before, there's 4 Eaton brothers. There's 3 of them, the adopted one, and then this one is a friend of the Eaton brothers. And the female main character here, her name is Winter. She is the, I believe it's either half-sister or stepsister of Summer Hamilton in the first book. I can't remember which at the moment. But this spine here, and then this background here is so beautiful. And I love that it kind of transitioned from Powerless into this, because it gets a little darker, but it's still got a little bit of that brightness and quality to it. And then last but not least is Hopeless by Elsie Silver, the 5th book in the Chestnut Springs series. This is my absolute favorite in the whole series. 5+ stars, 6 stars, if you know, do that. But we've got this cover here. This is Bailey, and the male main character's name is Bo. So Bailey and Bo, how cute is that? And Bailey is a bartender in the town that all these characters reside in, and Bo is a retired military veteran. So it's a little different. He doesn't have quite that cowboy vibe as the rest of them do. This one's my absolute favorite, and I'll definitely try to go into more deep dive about this series and author in a future video. So I love the bar down at the bottom, and then the lake or river that is in this story is super important to the plot. So that is Hopeless by Elsie Silver. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me for my April book haul. I am so excited for all of these books. Please tell me in the comments below which books you think I should read first of the ones that I haven't read. I think I'm going to try to jump into Firebird as my first book in May, but we will see. I change my plans all the time. I love a good TBR, but then also I'm a little bit of a mood reader, so I'm kind of do both. So it's very interesting. But again, I'm so excited to be here with you all, and I can't wait to see you in my next video, which will hopefully be my either April wrap-up or maybe like an author deep dive. I'm still trying to figure out which one I'm going to do next, but I'm very excited. Bye, guys.